Right, so training webinar number 2. Today's session is based on landing pages and offers, and there are a couple of things we just need to be aware of before we start. First and foremost, in the Zoom controls, you'll see a chat button. So please use that if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. We have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar, and I will attempt to answer as many of those as possible. If we do run out of time, I will answer them via email, but I'll copy everybody in so that they can see the responses. And lastly, I'm recording today's webinar. So if you want to watch it again or keep it as a point of reference, that's fine. But I also understand that you're all busy people and you may get pulled away in the middle of the session, so at least you can catch up to that afterwards. We also have a number of people that knew in advance that they couldn't attend today's session, so they've asked for the recording to be sent to them. Right, so the first question we've really got to answer is what are landing pages? These are really divided into two camps. There's a pre-selected used car listing page or a pre-selected new car offer page. So in essence, what we can do is we can set up a number of filters and just display a particular set of vehicles from within our stock on one convenient page. And we've got some use case examples that I'm going to show you in just a moment. But the flip side of that is on the new car side. So if we've got a number of different offers running on one particular model, we can filter out all of the stuff that the customer's not interested in and just show them the offers on that particular vehicle. So it channels customers' attention. They get to what they want to see a lot quicker, but we can also focus them on vehicles that we want to particularly promote. Let's say we've got some overage stock and we want to create a landing page around that. It's a really good way of separating those cars from the rest of our stock. So let's have a look at some use case examples. Here we've got a banner for cars with 0 road tax. So what I've done here is I've created a filter which will only display cars that have got less than 99 grams of CO2. So when you click on the banner, that's all you see. You just see those vehicles that qualify for that. Here's another one. So we can base this on body style. So I've got a filter set up that will only display results for vehicles that have the word convertible, cabriolet or roadster in their description. So when we click on this one, we just see our soft tops. Doesn't have to be soft tops, it could be estate cars, it could be 4x4s. So there are a number of different options available to you there. This one is for delivery mileage vehicles, so in effect a pre-reg landing page. What I've done here is I've created a page based on 2 different filters. So this is going to display anything that's been registered in the last 2 months that's got less than 100 miles on the clock. So if we click through to that, you can see the results just down the bottom here are delivery mileage vehicles. So it's very effective. It's a really good, easy way of marketing a specific set of vehicles. But it's not all about used. So here's a new car landing page. So new car pages are based not around the vehicles themselves, but around the offers that are on these vehicles. So I've got a number of different Fiesta offers that are all running at the moment. So what I've done is created a Fiesta offer landing page, and it's just going to display those. Doesn't have to be banners that link to these either. So at within the used car offer section, I've created these for budget searches. So we've got some nice clear buttons here that will allow a customer to instantly zoom into vehicles within their predefined budget range. Now we can set up the parameters ahead of this. So I think these are all based on £500 deposit, a 36-month term, 5,000 miles per year and a PCP, but we can change all of those to suit what you want to display to the customer in effect. So if I click through to one of these, here's the results page, and you can see just above the listings here, the parameters that I've set out. Now the interesting thing here is if a customer is really interested in these, but these parameters that we've predefined don't suit them, they can still manipulate the quote. So if they've got more deposit, but they're doing more miles as well, or they want a longer term, they can actually change all of that once they get into the listing, but it's pulled their attention. we're getting them on page, we're getting them searching through our stock, which is ideally what we want to do in the first place. We can create sale events as well. A lot of my customers, just through talking to them, or our customers should I say, have said that they really struggle to actually come up with used car offers. It's very easy on new because of the manufacturer marketing, etc. But to have consistent used car offers is sometimes a little bit difficult. We've got a big sale here, and we can base this on a number of different filters. We could actually display cars over 45 days old. We could display cars that have been reduced in the last 30 days. This one is based on a sale event that we've got coming up called the Big Sale, and I've created an offer and placed it on all of these vehicles, and I can then create a landing page just for vehicles that have had this offer attached to them. So all of these vehicles, in the main image here on the top left hand corner, we've got our Big Sale, so we can base it on this text. Another good example here, so if we hover over used cars, I've created a whole raft of landing pages based on each individual model in the range. So this allows a customer to just hover over there and zoom straight away, one click, straight into all of the Mondeo stock or S-Max stock or Fiesta stock, for instance. But we can also add in a couple of bonus searches, if you like. If you look down the bottom here, I've also got nearly new and recently reduced. So, there's something for everybody there, hopefully. And there's my Fiesta results, just based on that search. Just to sort of recap in terms of the benefits of these, customers get to what they want to see quicker. It's a nice, easy, simple journey, and they can zoom straight in on what interests them the most. We have the ability to create a really powerful used car offer section. And some of the examples that we just saw in previous slides here, we've got huge savings, big events, recently reduced, zero road tax. These pages can almost be a permanent thing within the used car offer section. The other nice thing is these are dynamic pages. So once you've created it, they can pretty much sit there. Now that has SEO benefits, but also because whenever you buy a car into stock, software will actually read all of the criteria for that vehicle and put it automatically onto the various landing pages that we've created. So they update themselves. Same with cars that you've sold, they will automatically disappear from those pages as well. So there's no management involved once you've actually set these up. Let's just take a moment to look at some of the SEO benefits. Because these pages are permanent, they are static, they actually get some SEO traction. With our used car stock, generally speaking, because it's kind of transient, it comes and it goes, they're never around long enough to actually get any SEO traction, or at least I hope they're not around long enough. So this is going to have a real benefit in that sense. We've also got the ability to stitch in things like header tags. The third session in the webinar trial is going to be on on-page SEO, so we'll learn more about some of these benefits in that session. We can use header tags and give search engines the best opportunity to index the page as well. We talked about the fact that they're dynamic, but because the page itself is static, we can actually create some landing page text, and that will really help the indexing as well and give it some SEO value. And getting a little bit more technical, we can also use long tail search terms. Rather than just have Ford Focus, we can actually be more specific. We can have 5-door in Maidstone, 2017, automatic, or 1.5 EcoBoost. So we can actually go down into a number of different search parameters, and we've got some examples of those at the bottom of this screen here. So we can search by transmission, we can search by age, engine size, or even location. And these are all really, really, really helpful for boosting your SEO. Okay, so we're going to build a landing page in just a second, but what I wanted to do is just give you a couple of best practice ideas before we get going. As I said before, we can have some text at the top of landing pages, and we recommend you do this with every page that you create. It gives a customer an idea of what they're looking at, but more importantly, that text is actually used to index the page, and it will help search engines to direct users straight to the landing page when they do a search for, let's say, used Fiesta in Maidstone. Just as a side note on that, if you're going to put some text in here, try and make it about 150 words or more. That's kind of the minimum. It's about 3 paragraphs, so it's not a great deal. Another thing that you can do, which we recommend, is you can actually add adverts into the top of landing pages. So this gives customers the opportunity, if the search isn't ideal for them, they've got other options, so they can see other landing pages perhaps. But this is a good example. We've actually got this finance advert at the top of a pre-reg landing page. So it's a good possibility that customers that are in the market for a nearly new car will need to borrow some money. So we're just linking up our marketing here and trying to make it as effective as possible. Okay, so let's build a landing page. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go to NetDirector Auto. And in the left-hand menu, if you scroll right down to Marketing, and then down to the bottom of Marketing, you'll see landing pages here. Now, if you've got commercial vehicles, you may see used cars and used vans, for instance. And if you've got the new car offers module, you'll also see new car offers as an option for the landing pages. I'm going to go to used cars just here. And you can see that I've got quite a few landing pages set up, and they're nearly all live. But to create a new one, just at the top right here, we've got Add New Landing Page. First thing we've got to do, though, is give it a title. So I'm going to create a landing page based on aged stock. So I'm going to call this my clearance page. And as soon as I click off of that, it creates the URL for me. I'm just going to save that. Still got all the usual suspects here, so we've got metadata down the bottom, etc. But I'm going to move and just select a couple of these tabs. You won't see all of these necessarily. It does depend on the configuration of your particular group or site. But here's the advert, so I can add in some adverts to this page. And I've got all of my adverts just in here. So I'm going to have finance. And if you wanted to, you could add a second one. Summer health check. There we go. Right. And then we've got a content area just here. So what we would normally do is recommend that you put some text in here. Don't forget to make these header tags. And then I'm just going to get some text. And I'm just going to put that in here. So there's my landing page text. Okay, so that's saved at the top here. There are a number of other tabs here, but I'm actually going to just concentrate on the criteria tab. So this is the one to the far right-hand side on the top of the page here. So this is where I actually determine all of the filters that are used to display the vehicles that I want displaying on this page. So I've got a number of different options. At the top here, we can either decide to turn off the used car search, so customers can only view the results on this page. They can't search the rest of our stock from within the page. Or you can choose to leave that on, so that if they can't find exactly what they're looking for, they can still continue to filter their results and go deeper into your stock. You can choose how many results are displayed on the page, and you can sort these results by lowest price first, highest price first, distance, or any of these options just here. I'm just going to make it lowest price first. We do have the option of setting up finance-based searches. So we can base this on the total price of the car, or a price range, or a payment search. So if you remember, I had those buttons that allowed me to view cars within a certain budget range. And if we do choose to use the payment, you can actually choose the finance product that's based on as well, just here. Okay, so this section really is the important part of landing pages. So we can create rules, and rules are actually just different filters within the search. So what I'm going to do here is click on the filter button, and you can see here there are loads and loads and loads of different options that I can use to filter down all of my searches. So just to give you a few examples within this this list here, we've got body style. So I use that one to create the cabriolet or the soft top landing page that we saw earlier in the PowerPoint. I can base this on cap code. CO2 emissions, I use that for the 99 grams of CO2, if you remember. Date created on the site. This is the one we're actually going to use in a second. But I'll just scroll down the list a little bit further so you can see different things here. So we got Euro emissions rating. So if you wanted to create a page that just displays Euro 6 cars, I know some of you are operating in cities where this is actually, quite an important thing. Customers are trying to avoid additional congestion charges by having the latest Euro 6 engines. So you could actually create a whole marketing campaign based around that and use this Euro emissions rating filter. Franchise approved, fuel type, gearbox, etc. And then just coming down the list even further, we've got make and model. So we'd use make and model for those searches that we had that you hover over the used car section and you've got all of the individual models set up in there. So, and you can use a combination of these. You don't just have to have one filter. You can actually have 3-door diesel automatics. You can use a number of those. In fact, one area where you will need to use a number of different filters all at the same time is when we're looking at a finance-based search. So, for instance, we've got the minimum monthly payment here, the maximum monthly payment. But if I wanted to base this on a PCP, I would also need to create a filter for the deposit, for the annual mileage, and for the term. Without all of these 5 different filters set up, it wouldn't return accurate results because it wouldn't know how to work out the results for the full PCP. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top because we've actually got our clearance cars here. I'm going to base this on, if I can find it, days in stock. Where is it? Date created on the site. So if I've got a car that is more than date unit days, I'm going to say that this is 45 days. So this is basically going to create a filter, and anything over 45 or more than 45 days in stock automatically be added to this landing page. And we can see here that we've got 31 vehicles in stock that meet that criteria. So if I click on save at the top here, I've done it. I've just created that landing page. It's as simple as that. So if we go back to our landing pages just here, you'll notice that because I didn't set a date, it wouldn't have put this page live. So here's our clearance page just here. There's the URL. I'm just going to put that live, just like that. And let's take that URL. I'll copy that. And then we'll go to view my site at the top here. Brilliant. Okay, now, and I'm just going to paste that URL into my browser just up here. What we've got just here is the adverts that I chose to go at the top of the landing page. Then we decided to leave the search filters on, so they're displaying as well. There's the text that I chose to have at the top of the landing page. And these 31 vehicles here are all over 45 days in stock. So you can see it's really quite powerful, but actually very simple to set up. Okay. So let's just look at some other options. If we go back to landing pages, and this time I'm going to click on new car offers. So the process for setting these up, there's the Fiesta new car search that we saw in the PowerPoint earlier. The process for setting these up is actually pretty much the same as the used car. So I can go for Mondeo offers. And that's created my page. And the criteria this time is right next to the settings. So I can actually say, okay, we've only got 6 offers currently running, but I can base this on make and model, and I can go forward and I can choose Mondeo. And that's it. So that's actually created that. We've actually only got one Mondeo offer currently running, but it's as simple as that to get these offers live on your site. So hopefully that session's been of real use to you. I'd like to think that you now know where you would use landing pages, where you can place them on your site, how you can use those for marketing purposes, and how to create them and set them up and get them running. So let's now move over to the Q&A and see what questions you've been asking throughout that session. I've just been told that we have actually got one question, so if you just bear with me a second. Okay, so the question was, can you illustrate where these offers sit within the site menu? Where we just had a very quick discussion about this. So there's two ways of actually looking at this. So if we were talking about site menu from a navigational perspective, just up here. So what I've done here is I've just created some drop downs, and the way that you would do that is to go to the marketing tab again, and just below landing pages is top navigation. So what I did here is, if we scroll down to used cars, you can see I've got those drop downs. Under used cars, I've got all of these sub pages, and that's what you saw when I hovered over the used car section. And to set one of these up, I just click the edit button, you give it a name, and then you direct the hover over button, if you like, to that landing page. So you choose page on site and used cars, and then I have a landing page set up with a filter for used Ford KA. So when you click on that button, it takes you to that landing page. So hopefully that helps you to understand how that works. And hopefully I've just answered your question. Great. Okay, so fantastic. Thanks ever so much for your time today. I hope you've got some real benefit from today. Thanks very much, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Oh, just very briefly before we go, just wanted to remind you of our email address, which is training.department@gforces.co.uk. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.